Hi students, in this video and the next video I'm gonna give you a brief overview of Android Studio software. The main purpose is after watching these videos you will be able to build your own apps. That is a great feeling, right? That I can guarantee. Obviously those will be some basic apps like converters, let's say temperature converter, unit converter, some math puzzle games. But to reach a certain point, a certain peak, a start is needed, right? And I am here to give you that. And one more thing, as I have already said, this is not only about theories or concepts. Rather, I will focus on building apps. And to build the app, if you need to know any prerequisite theory, that I would explain whenever needed. Okay. So let's start. These are the today's topics, and I have not included the installation video in this video because the only reason is it is very straightforward. The installation process is very straightforward. I'm just showing you the download site, and the rest process is just tapping on the that next buttons. So to install the Android Studio software you have to first open your browser and visit this site, developers.android.com. Then Android Studio, and then this one. So if you are from Windows background, and so this is the 64-bit file, just click on this button. And if you are from Mac or Linux, these are your corresponding files. Okay, for 64-bit this is the Linux, Mac this is the Windows, this is the exe file. Okay, now I'm just closing it because so after installation, when you start Android Studio for the first time, it might take some time. Okay, it totally depends on your machine's configuration. I recommend to close all the other apps, all the other tabs, because otherwise it might get slower. So so this is the interface. After installation, this is the first time when you start the software with which you'll be interacting with. So here first start a new Android project. Click on that. Then choose activities. So there are lots of activities. Okay. So first, choosing any activity. What is activity? Activity is screens in your application. Okay. For example, if I talk about Facebook, when you first click on the icon, login screen appears. That is one activity. Then after all credentials matching done, feed appears, another activity. So these are activities. Okay. So for time being, just choose empty activity. Then next, name. Name would be the name of the app, or you can say when the app will be installed, this will be the name on your phone. Okay. So let's for time being give demo app. So then package name. So package, no need to worry about that right now. This is needed when the app will be published on Play Store. Based on the package, your app will be distinguished. And so then comes save location. This is the location where the project will be saved. Language, as I said, Java would be the one. Now comes SDK, minimum SDK. What is that? So before minimum SDK, what is SDK? SDK is a set of tools that help to develop applications for Android platform. As you know, Android is the base of embedded device. So these tools include required libraries, debugger, emulator on which the app will be run, etc. So if you choose the latest ones, okay, like Nougat or Audio, the latest ones, you can see this percentage, your app will run on approximately 92.3%. So this percentage will decrease, if you choose the latest ones. So the default ones or the recommended one is ice cream sandwich. Choose this one because your app will run on approximately 100% of devices. Okay. So after all these things, then click on finish. So after clicking finish, your project will be built. and some other background processes like model of the app is built, then gradle syncing, etc, etc. So keep patience and give it the time it needs. As you can see, background process is going on. Gradle configures projects. So it depends on your system's configuration, and when you first time open the software, it takes time. Okay, so give it that time. Now you're ready to go. As you can see, daemon started successfully. See, daemon started successfully. So what is daemon? Daemon is any daemon is nothing but a program that runs as a background process rather than being controlled by an interactive user. Okay, so first thing is, this is the directory structure. This is my project. If you click on this, this is the directory structure. For time being, let's talk about some important directories and files. First comes manifest.xml. I mean, if you just close all this, there are three main directories: manifest, Java, and resource. Right, res for resource. Okay, and Gradle. Gradle is I'll talk about that. So this is my app, and inside that three main directories: manifest, Java, and resource. Inside manifest, you have Android manifest.xml. So what is its purpose? So this is a declaration file, contains all the necessary information about the app. I mean, if you click on that, see, demo app, this is the name of the app, and lots more things. This is the activity, main activity. Okay, I'll talk about that what is main activity and all these stuffs. So what this file contains is, this is a declaration file. It contains all necessary information about the app, all the permissions app needs, and minimum Android API info. Okay, so what is Android API? It refers to collection of all software modules that make up the Android SDK. In simpler words, Android API or SDK refers to the same thing. Then which activity should start first? Because in your app there could be multiple activities. So what is the first activity? I mean, if I talk from website's point of view, what is the home page? Okay, then all libraries that must be linked to the app, all these things are declared here. Then after manifest, we have Java folder. As you can see, Java folder. For time being, ignore these two test folders. Here we have one important file, that is main activity. Inside, this is the package, and this is the file main activity. So what is its purpose? Its purpose is to handle the backend of the app, which means, okay, before activity main, before that, before talking about main activity, inside res, then layout, this is another important file. Okay, so this talks about how the app will look like, and that Java file, this main activity.java, talks about how the app will work depending on users interactivity. Okay, next important directory is drawable. Where is that? This one, under resource. Okay, so what is its purpose? When we put, this is the place where we put all the static images our app will be needing. PNG is preferred, but JPG is also acceptable, and but yeah, GIF is not. Okay, so that's the thing. We also have drawable v24 here. Not here. If we see the project structure, the project structure, this is my this is the directories which are only needed to maintain the, which only used by this IDE or this tool, Android Studio. Okay, and if you see the whole project structure, this is the whole project structure, and inside app, if you source, then main, then resource, now you can see you have multiple, besides drawable, you have drawable v24 and lots of other things. Okay, MDPI, HDPI, what are these? I will talk about this. And then, as I said, we have another folder that is drawable v24. So and this is the place where we put our vector images. Another important directory is values, where we have strings.xml. Let me show you this one inside resource values. Here we have strings.xml. So what is its purpose? Here, this file, this strings.xml, actually helps us to create strings. Strings are resources that provide text strings for your application with optional text styling, which are referenced from the application. After that, we have gradle. So as I said, gradle, this one. So what is gradle? Gradle is a build system. Now, before build system, we should know some other things like Android runtime, which is nothing but DVM plus core Java libraries. Now, next thing is, next question that comes to mind is, what is DVM? We know about JVM, Java Virtual Machine, which takes bytecode or .class files as input and generates executable file and run that. DVM is optimized for low processing power and memory environment, because we know in embedded devices we don't have that much resource like desktop or laptop. Now DVM does not run .class files, rather it runs .dex files. So here the sequence of execution becomes like this. First, all the Java source code are converted to Java bytecode by Java compiler, and then converted into Dalvik bytecode, or that I talked about, .dex file, by Dex compiler, which is accepted by DVM. Now Gradle or build system takes all the source files, .java or .xml, .java for the backend code and .xml for layout designing. Also, .xml is not only for layouts and designing; it has other purposes also. But yeah, for timing, let's think. As you can see, activity main.xml, this is for design purpose, and main activity for the backend code. How the app will work. These two are the resource files, source files. Sorry. So this build system takes these two files. It takes all the source files, then it applies appropriate tools. Example, takes Java class files and converts them into Dex files and groups all of them into one compressed file, that is our beloved APK, which you can share with our friends. Now to automate all these tasks, there has to be a script. You can write your own build system. If you are from Linux, you can use shell scripting, and in Windows you can use batch file syntax. So yeah, then now next thing is palette. So if we see activity main.xml, this is palette. So what is this? Here we have all the views, all other things like layouts. We also have text, buttons, images, scroll bars, all these activity. All these which we can drag and drop inside our activity main.xml. One thing, as I said before, activity main talks about designing. Now you can design in two ways. Okay. If we see this code portion, this is for dragging and dropping, and code portion is the XML portion. Okay. So most of the times I'll be using drag and dropping, but sometimes XML is also helpful. I will show you how in future. Next thing, Componentry. So this is Componentry. This is this one. We have a default hello world app. Okay. So this is the one text view, and this comes under constraint layout. This is one layout. We have other layouts also. Inside layouts we have linear layout, horizontal, linear layout, vertical. Then inside legacy we have relative layout. Then we have grid layout. So yeah, inside widgets we have, as I said, all these things. We have view, video view, seek bar. Buttons, we have button, image button, text. We have text view, plain text, all these things. I'll use all of them in my future apps, and then all these things will be clear to you. Okay, so Componentry actually talks about the tree structure of the views and layouts. Okay, so here we have lots of, if you see the default tab, as I said, hello world tab, this is a tree structure, right? Because this is the root, constraint layout is the root, and this text view is the children. One child. We can have multiple children. So yeah, this talks about the tree structure. If I just show you, if I just drag one button over here, See, constraint layout now has two childs, one text view and another button. This is how these things work. Then we have attributes. So here we have lots of attributes. I mean, for a particular, if I talk about a particular view, this is button view. So we have lots of attributes. I will show you some important ones in my next practical video. And yeah, then I mean, these attributes actually help us to customize predefined views, like giving fonts, changing height, width, colors, margin, padding, etc. Then the next thing is where to check if app crashes. So here comes logcat. So this is the place, and I mean, for time being, I mean, now you won't see anything because we have not run our app on emulator. Here it will show either, I mean, this is the place. I mean, now this is showing that no connected devices because we have not connected our app. I mean, we have not run our app on any emulator or any physical device. So when that will be done, this is the place where all the necessary or unnecessary going on in background. So all these informations come over here, and you have to I mean, look at this position if your app crashes. I mean, there is a statement comes the start of the crashing. So, and from that it will also give you the line number where if you have done any mistakes. So I mean, from these things you can debug your works. Okay, I'll show you how. Okay, I'll show you a demo in next video. Next is activity and view. Activity, I already said, views are everything we see on a screen or on a single activity. Now comes two important files, activity main.xml. I have already discussed about that, that it talks about the layout or the design. Inside MainActivity.java, we already have some codes. I mean, if you see this MainActivity.java, we already have some codes, and inside activity main.xml also we have some codes. And now you can understand that this code is for the default hello world app. Okay, and I have also inserted a button. For timing, let me remove that. And as I said, this main activity, we have some predefined, I mean, already codes. So what is its purpose? So here we have this onCreate method, as you can see, a protected void onCreate. So whenever any activity starts, onCreate gets called. We have two imports, these two. First one is app compat activity, which is for compatibility. It ensures that our app is backwardly compatible with older versions of Android. And second one, OS bundle, helps to work with Android OS. The class main activity helps to work with the activity on the screen. It inherits app compat activity. I mean, this one that we are importing, as you can see, extends. Then, and it also adds some code to it. Okay, that is the concept of inheritance, right? So then, I mean, that is how the backward compatibility is taken in our main activity. Okay, because it is inheriting some parent properties, that is the backward compatibility. Okay, next we are customizing onCreate or overriding, means this already exists. Okay, I mean, this method we are overriding it. This is the decorator. So as you can see, I mean, we are overriding this, means this onCreate method already exists. We are adding some code to it, right? And what it does, it first restores any saved state. So I mean, it calls the parent onCreate method, and it this, I mean, if it restores, then proceed with further statements. Okay, I mean, if we have any saved state on user's phone, and then we have set content view. What is this? It actually links our activity main.xml to this main activity.java. Okay, this linking portion is done by this set content view. Okay, here actually you can see r dot, we are passing r dot layout dot activity main as its parameter. So r, as I already said, r is for resource, then layout, then activity main.xml. This is how these files are accessed. And the last thing is DP and SP. Android actually divides all actual screen densities into 6 generalized densities: low, medium, high, extra, extra high, and extra extra high, and extra 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 high. Okay. Screen density is number of pixels present in a constant area of display. Different Android devices have different screen densities. That is why we should use DP or SP instead of pixels. These are virtual units that should be used when defining layouts and font respectively. The reason is, if we use pixels to define height and width, let's say we have a button, then it will look bigger in lower density devices and it will look smaller in higher density devices. The density independent pixel is equivalent to 1 physical pixel on a 160 dpi screen. At runtime, the system transparently handles any scaling of the dp to ensure proper display. SP is same as DP but also takes care of users font size preference. Okay, it is adjusted for both screen density and users preference. As I said, those 6 generalized densities that I have already shown you inside resource, then if I see the project structure, then app, then source, I've already shown you. Let me show you again. These are the things. For HDPI, then M for medium, then XH, extra high, then extra extra high, and then extra 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 high. Okay, so these are the directories. At runtime, the system transparently handles any scaling. Depending on the screen density of that specific user. Okay, it is adjusted at runtime. So that's all about today. In the next video, I'll show some practical implementation of today's video and other ones like building APK, how to build your own APK, running app on your own emulator, how to build your emulator, then using version control system. If you use Git, how to sync your process, your project with Git. That I will show you. Then after that, we'll start with our apps. Okay. So stay tuned, keep learning. Bye bye.